Nazi chicks are hot, man.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Unrelenting. What number is this? Like 93 or something now?
Something.
They're adding up. They're getting in there. They're getting 92. 92 of Unrelenting. I'm Darren O'Neill. He's Gene Nevtuliev, and he won't be speaking much today because his eyes are glued to the screen.
That's a good point. I'm glad you played Final Countdown because I was just counting down to the 10 o'clock mark here when the sale starts at Star Citizen.
That's when you're going to be able to buy even more spaceships
virtually. I'm doing right now, literally as we talk.
Yeah. Taylor Swift dropped some new stuff yesterday, and I didn't know, and it was gone before I knew. And I'm like, damn.
Really?
Yeah, they bifurcated, is that the correct word? My system of having a script that checks the main page, being it was on a hidden page and not linked from the main page. I'm like, you bastards.
Well, that's no good.
But there's a rumor that this is going to be happening daily now through like Black Friday, so we'll see.
Oh, they're going to sell shit daily?
Yeah, just drop some rare stuff. Like the one that I missed out on the last time, which I don't even want to play it. It's just got that OCD where I have all the other vinyl, so I want to have that complete vinyl collection. And they came out with a heart-shaped double vinyl set that originally sold for $40 and now is selling for like $500. But they were selling them for $40 yesterday. They dropped a few again, so it's like, damn.
Wow.
I don't want to pay big bucks. I mean, I know you do when you get your spaceships. You like to pay top dollar for the spaceship.
I don't like to pay big bucks either. I just have paid big bucks.
That's why Gene actually makes everybody call him Captain Gene before they can even come into his house. Like, can I come aboard, Captain? You mean like a boat? Like, no, spaceship.
Captain, please, do you know what you call somebody with multiple spaceships?
Admiral?
Admiral, fucking A.
What's a okay? Captain. Admiral fucking A.
What the hell is this bullshit?
What is above Captain? Admiral fucking A.
Yeah, Admiral fucking A, man. That's the title for somebody that's in command of multiple spaceships.
I want to see you. We need to get you a jacket, and then that would be the name. I
have
tag
a jacket
that says Admiral fucking A on it.
Oh, that says Admiral fucking A. That's good.
Yes. Hello, Admiral.
Yeah, no, in the game, I've got a nice leather jacket.
Is it soft, Gene? I mean.
It's pretty damn soft, man. It's good leather.
In the game, it's only the finest leather.
It actually, Tom Cruise kind of stole what it looks like, I noticed, in Top Gun.
Well, he'll do that.
Uh-huh.
He keeps very well abreast of what you're doing in the video game world, and he tries to emulate that in his movies.
I'm pretty sure he is a closet gamer.
I mean, he's a closet something.
Oh.
Welcome to Unrelenting 90. I mean, imagine how good we'll be by 93.
I know, right?
Are we doing a show next week on Black Friday?
We can. I don't have plans other than trying not to buy things on Amazon.
Is that the whole thing? It's like everything is... And Black Friday doesn't really exist anymore, which as far as a shopping experience...
They've stretched it out into like months.
Yes. I mean, it's like, okay, it's October 15th. Black Friday sales start today.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, that's not really a Black Friday sale then.
Yeah.
And Black Friday sales, that used to be to get people to go shopping at their location.
Right.
When it's virtual, when it's online, I don't understand. I mean, I get it. It's the same thing. They want you to come shop on their website, but then why elongate it?
Mm-hmm.
The items that used to go on sale, for all those that aren't old enough to remember, they would actually take good products. You know, it might be that $2,000 Sony TV everybody wants.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like 5 of them that they're going to sell at $1,000.
Right.
Now, almost all of these sales are products that I wouldn't want to buy anyway.
Oh, it just means you're getting old.
That could also be it. It's like when people are like, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know.
Yeah.
None. I would have normally said Adriana Lima, but then you're sending me pictures of what she looks like now. And I'm like, now I got to revise my list.
Don't need that.
Got to revise my list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's she did not age well.
Well, you're the one that's always taught us, Gene, that there is an expiration date.
Well, I mean, I'm just stating the obvious here.
Have you been getting spammed on your crypto yet on your GetAlby account?
No.
Because I've
Should
noticed
they be?
this. Yeah, they're spamming now.
Oh, for what?
They're sending 10 Satoshi boostograms with messages. I've gotten 3 of them.
Oh.
Since CSB came in yesterday with his boost for this show, I've gotten 10 Satoshi boosts, no name. The first one says, "Hey there, $1,000 trial cloud mining hash just for you. Mint for free, 0 cost for 1 day. All profit is yours." And then a link.
Huh.
The next one, RSMC Bitcoin Agency. Find our ad in the new Bitcoin magazine. And then there's a web
That's
address.
great. So they figured out how to turn that into. Well, it makes sense. I mean, Satoshis are borderline worthless. So it's the cheapest form of advertising, probably. It's way less than Google would charge.
Exactly. Now there's
And
another.
it shows up in your inbox.
There's another link, and arguably one of the better Bitcoin-only bedtime story by mail websites. And I'm thinking, one, I didn't even know there were Bitcoin-only bedtime stories by mail.
Mm.
I didn't know anybody needed bedtime stories emailed to them. Is that something we could
that
do?
would be, yeah, the Zoomers do.
This is awesome. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Can we make millions on this?
20, 22, 24-year-olds,
Like we just sent you a new bedtime
How would they
story.
fall asleep without
without-
being afraid without a bedtime story?
Oh, you want to horrify them. I get it.
No, I wouldn't mind horrifying them, but I think that's not what they're looking for.
But this is what 10 Satoshis buy you because it just sits right there and it shows up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Ooh, complete alien ship pack, $2,480.
but that's real money, Gene. That's not Satoshis.
That's right. Those are dollars. So how much is that in
Oh.
Satoshis? Let's find out.
Do you think that's a part of the system? Like if they get you so used to things like, well, somebody sent in 8,000
guys.
Satoshis.
New
nothing.
goal for today's episode. I need 7,969,122 Satoshis.
Is that all?
That's it.
I don't even have that in my wallet.
Let's hope not.
I have about half that, but I don't have that much.
You have $1,400 just sitting there.
Yeah, and I've
Okay, everybody, just use my personal address instead of our combined one, because clearly somebody doesn't need sats.
and I've cleaned out. I mean, I bought like $1,500 worth of Amazon gift cards with Sats not that long ago too.
Jesus.
But 10 Satoshis is 0.0036, so it is a third of a cent.
Mm-hmm.
That is great rates on your marketing.
Isn't it? That's the cheapest marketing. Yeah, Google will charge like $1 for that.
A third of a penny,
Mm-hmm.
10 Satoshis just shows up in everybody's. I mean, now, for those who have, this is why people then start paying for programs to filter things out
Mm-hmm.
where you're like, well, don't show me any messages under X amount.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to send me spam and you're willing to put $1 behind it or more, I'll read your message for $1.
Well, you're cheap. I'd say
I'm not saying
$5,
I
but-
wouldn't say I'd read it online, but I'd glance.
okay. So you like if somebody just wants to communicate with you, it's $1.
Right.
And how many sats is $1?
Let's see. Well, if 10 sats is that little, then $1 would be
2,777.
Ooh, that's a lucky number today. 2777.
Yeah, so that's there you go, guys. There's your minimum sat donation amount. For Darren to actually
2777.
read something.
Yeah, for me to glance and go, okay, I'll read them. Now, if you want me to read it on the show, that's Gene was
so that's
suggesting.
13,883 sats.
You were thinking that should be at least like
$5.
$10, but
Well, I mean, you could
5
go
is
10,
fair.
but if you said 5, so I that's why I went with 13,883.
Yeah, and I think CSB was under that, so we're not going to be able to read his message today
that's
about
under the 10,000
CSB.lol. There won't be any of that. We're setting new bars.
Yeah. So previously we would have said go to CSB.lol to check out his cartoons, but since we're not, his measly amount of sats wasn't even $5, then we're not going to read that.
Darren, you can't change rules during show.
Watch him.
But to be fair, he comes in every show, so he gets a little leeway. That's different. That's called a recurring donation,
Mm-hmm.
which is better. Comes in all the time.
Recurring's good. That's true.
But it won't bring you enough to buy virtual spaceships, which cost real thousands.
That's true.
Virtual spaceships, real thousands. I hope it has at least a nice Rolls-Royce engine in there.
Rolls-Royce engine.
But they don't make them in the future in the space world.
They do not license the Rolls-Royce logo, no.
But wait, do you have to license something if it's still in beta and fans are making mocks
An
and all
alpha,
that?
please.
His fans are making all of the. Can fans add stuff to the game? Is that something in this one?
No, that would steal money from the company.
I thought it was interesting when there was one of the first virtual worlds, and I don't remember if it predated Second Life or not. But there was one of the first virtual worlds that I remember was created by a company at the behest of the band the Pussycat Dolls, believe it or not.
That sounds vaguely familiar, although I don't think I ever got into that. I think I heard about it.
Like Exit Reality or something the company was called. But it was quite interesting because it was branded, and then they lost the Pussycat Dolls part, and then they took the branding out. But there was like a Pussycat Doll store, and you could buy the virtual stuff. And you could do the kind of all the stuff that you would do in Second Life. You could walk around into different areas. You could take teleports into your owned businesses or buildings. But I thought the most interesting thing, at least one of the interesting things on what they were looking at doing there, was they had clothing stores because, you wanted your avatar to look cool. Like, Gene, you got to have your leather jacket in your game.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was allowing people they would give you the templates, and anybody that wanted to create clothing could create and upload it, and then they would get a cut of the money when that was sold. And I'm like, that would be great for the spaceship. I mean, you create your own spaceship. And I don't know how much money these people are making, but as I've mentioned, the wife likes Lego now.
Yeah.
There are people and there are sites that are dedicated to things you can make with existing Lego sets that aren't the set. So if you got,
that makes sense.
Right. You have the Millennium Falcon set, but you can create this with it instead. They sell instructions. They just make the instructions and sell the instructions for like $5. And I'm like, I wonder how much money you can make doing that. People are crazy.
Yes, I'll agree with that. I mean, you probably make some money. It all depends on timing. That's one of the biggest factors that you can't predict for. You can only take advantage of in business. See, I'm giving business advice now.
Well, you are a business professional. Timing.
Yes.
You have
I was at a conference this week where
doing actual work.
Trying to get some actual clients.
This wasn't a virtual spaceship.
I'm like, I need to make some actual money so I can buy some fake spaceships.
Right. So when you have somebody that's like, Gene, we'd like to get into bed with you, with business, that is. I mean, maybe the other way too. But, what are you hoping to accomplish with this partnership? And Gene's like, I've got a few spaceships I got my eye on.
Yeah, exactly.
You imagine you get some looks.
Hey, was I right or was I wrong about SpaceX?
You did say it was not going to launch today.
It was not going to launch today, and it did not launch today. Now, they are saying tomorrow. I figured it'd be Monday. I thought I'd drive down there on Monday. But they're saying tomorrow. I didn't think they would do a weekend launch. That seems weird to me, but I don't know. I still think it's a better chance that they won't launch tomorrow and they'll move it to Monday.
Well, I just figured you went across the yard and knocked on Elon's door and was like,
right.
So when are you really launching?
I know. Well, he's a little further than across the way from me. He's a lot further from downtown than I am. But I could knock on the Tesla truck factory. That is only 3 miles away from me.
Ooh. So for people that are looking at the maps and trying to triangulate Gene's
if you can
house,
find a Tesla factory in Austin, then you kind of know where I live.
You can then show up at Gene's and breathe in that carbon dioxided air.
Yeah, the good stuff.
The good stuff. Man, it'll either get you high or make you healthy.
No, it's an antioxidant.
It is yet another antioxidant.
Get it? I mean, it's
antioxidant. It's an
it's an antioxidant. Exactly. So it's good for you.
And I thought
everybody knows that oxygen's bad.
Yeah, you don't want too much. No, wait, I think
Plus,
you do
this way I'm keeping all the CO2 in my house instead of polluting the atmosphere with it.
Well, that's very nice. Now, so if Gene ever leaves the house, you're going to see it on all of those climate graphs.
Yeah, because I actually I do get payments from Al Gore for my CO2 consumption rates here. So you have a lot of carbon credits, man.
I do have a lot of carbon credits. If you could only put those carbon credits into virtual spaceships, you'd be in good shape.
I'd be set, man.
Mr. Gore, can you explain the graph here where it really goes up? Yeah, well, Gene left the house.
Yeah.
He opened his front door and
Yeah, all the carbon dioxide just flew out.
you have to have some really good insulation, and really most homes aren't that kind of airtight, but I mean,
It's heavier than oxygen.
so it won't go through the, I mean, really though, if you don't have an airtight seal,
I mean, you'll get mixing obviously and stuff, but it's if you only have holes on the roof of your house, then it's gonna very slowly drain out.
it's an interesting way to vent everything, but I guess it could work.
Mm-hmm.
Put some solar panels
But
up
if
there.
you open the door, there's a whole wave of CO2 that'll just rush out your front door right by your feet.
Well, at least it's by your feet. That's a lot
Yeah.
safer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
And
safer.
another side benefit that's convenient is it'll kill any kind of pests that you might have.
Like dogs and cats.
Well, not
Friends that
pets,
stop on
pests. Like, rodents and crickets and all kinds of things that might want to try and live in your house.
Oh, I guess that would make sense because the CO2 is like at a
Mhm.
deadly.
I mean, that is literally
Mixture
how
low.
they kill the food supply for my snakes is with CO2.
Nice.
So the rabbits and the rats and stuff, that's how they kill them. They just put them into a CO2 atmosphere.
You don't catch them yourself. You don't go out in the field.
I actually am going out in about actually next week. I think is when I'm supposed to go out there. My hunting of the rabbits is a 3-hour drive to a rabbit farm, where they have a whole bunch of frozen rabbits ready for me.
Kill the rabbit.
Mm-hmm. They do that.
Frozen though. I mean, why? Don't you want fresh?
No, do you know how stinky those things are? Are you kidding?
No, I
They're
don't.
nasty.
I do
You've
not
never been
know.
around the rabbit? Okay.
No, I mean, I've seen people that had them as pets, which I thought was
they're very stinky.
not a good idea. Then
No,
again,
because they
most
don't
pets.
taste good after a while. So why would you want them as a pet?
So you only have cattle, maybe a lobster. You have a lobster tank ready. I can see Gene doing this, which is he's got
I've
the
had
big.
lobsters before.
But then you're like, well, hey, buddy, and then
Mhm.
one day you're like, I'm really having a hankering for for some lobster, and you look in the tank, and the lobster looks at you, and you look at the lobster, and
Mm-hmm.
Gene's warming up the butter, and
Lobsters, yeah, that'd be a little trickier. I mean, it's doable. I watched a video on YouTube of a guy who bought a lobster at a store and then turned him into a pet, like a food lobster, and then put him in an aquarium and fed him and gave him stuff. And you can do it. You can buy a food lobster at a grocery store and turn him into a pet if you want.
you can do anything
Yeah,
if you have the right virtual spaceship.
yeah.
Now-
That's absolutely right.
Do you have a limit on your spending today on your Black
As
Friday
little as possible.
virtual spaceship?
So far, I've spent $70 while we're talking.
Really? Wow, for
Yeah.
probably new leather jackets for the crew.
Yeah, no, there's a new ship that just came out.
This is partially an addiction, I think,
No. It's an investment.
for a
It's
game
really
in
no
alpha.
different than Bitcoin.
In a way, I suppose. If you can
These ships
find
go up in price.
if you can find people to buy things, very much like Taylor
Mhm.
Swift vinyl. If you can find
Absolutely.
people that want to buy something, whether it's visual,
Yeah.
virtual, or whether it's real, then there is more value there.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it works.
Exactly.
You just got to know where to get it. So only $70. Well, you can really go up from there, but you need to get some boostergrams in.
Yeah, man. Got to get them boostergrams.
If you boostergram, 5 million Satoshis, Gene will name the ship after you.
There's only a handful of ships that you can name.
Wait, would you have to pay extra for that then? Or
No, they're just expensive ships generally.
so then it's like, well, if you want to name it, you have to add more.
I think there's 6 ships in the game that they're like allowing you to name,
Because they are so grand that they
but
have
they
to.
tend to be on the pricier side. Yeah.
And you can't just like name them Shithead or something like Steve Martin's dog.
You can if you're the first person to do it. They have to be unique names.
Well, that would make sense because it has to be unique in the game.
Yeah.
Do you have any name ships?
I have all of them. Yes.
I have all of them in the game. Like nobody else has ever bought one, and you own them.
I had to take a monopoly out on name ships.
A lot of people are like, "This guy's a real sick motherfucker, man. I don't know what he's talking about here." What are the names of these ships, or is that too personal a question?
No, they're all Atlas Shrugged names.
Interesting. So we see a pattern.
Yeah. So there's a Dagny Taggart. There's a Reardon. There's a what's the guy's name? The pirate dude. I forget his name off the top of my head. And then of course there's John Galt.
No Mr. Sulu, huh?
So no, it's they're all fairly consistent. I think I'm trying to remember. Oh, that's in a different game. So I've got
wait, how many games do you own spaceships in?
Really?
I'll give you some time here if you need to add all these up and
at least 5.
Damn. Now, which one is still the favorite game that you go back to over and over?
Well, it's hard to say because they rotate. Sometimes you want to be in one game and play that, and sometimes another one. So I played quite a bit of Starfield between like September and just recently, a few weeks back. Like a lot of hours of Starfield. But now the sale started at Star Citizen, so now I'm going to be playing a little bit of Star Citizen.
So this is going to add to the gameplay experience.
I mean, I still play games that don't have spaceships occasionally too. The Farm Sim just came out with a new DLC, so I was playing that yesterday.
Like the Farm Sim just came out with this whole new seed pack, man. It was crazy.
That's literally what it is. They have carrot seed packs now. So I have to do some carrot planting.
When you are so bored that you will virtually plant carrots.
I don't know why you think that's boring. It's actually pretty awesome. Have you never been to a farm?
I'm sure at some point.
Uh-huh.
I mean, not a huge working farm. I mean, my buddy moved from the area that, in the suburbs where we lived out another 20 minutes south and lived on a farm like once high school hit, and I went out there. But I mean, it was just a family farm, not like, not like something that had millions of acres or anything. But, there were chickens and there were animals around and, these kind of things.
That would be a farm.
A lot of cats and a lot of allergens.
A lot of cats?
Yeah, they had cats. I mean, I guess it helped with the mice problem.
Huh. Ooh, the Merchant Man's up to 650.
The Merchant Man is up to 650. Nobody, including me, understood what that meant. Has somebody been triggered?
That's a ship name.
Now, do these ships rise in price as more people buy them?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so it's a Ponzi scheme.
To buy them early and then sell them later.
Ponzi scheme.
No, it's called business.
Pyramid scheme. Ponzi scheme.
There's no Ponziing here. It's just business.
Business. Totally legitimate business transaction.
Completely. Oh, here it is. I found the one I was looking for.
When Gene spends $25,000 on virtual spaceships and then writes totally legitimate business transaction on his tax form.
That is literally true because since I both buy and sell these, I am just a trader.
I'm a speculator.
Yeah.
I am not a crazy gamer. I am just a speculator.
I don't even play the game. I just buy ships and sell them.
I believe there would be people that do that.
There are people that do that. And honestly, it's that part of the game is more fun anyway.
The buying and selling.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing if you can one-up somebody. It's like all collectibles, really.
So
you want to buy them low, sell them high.
Get that.
And I always have a different, it's hard to, there's something to be said for the old Latin caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. There's also something now, let the seller beware. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm always torn how I feel about things when it's like, okay, somebody died and somebody's it's an estate sale or they're having a garage sale
Mm-hmm.
and they sell an item for like $1 that turns out being worth, $1 million.
Never happens.
Maybe not to that extreme, but people sell things for nothing that are worth something, a decent amount. And it's like, do you feel bad if that happens to somebody? They didn't.
I feel good if it happens to me buying it.
Right. Well, that's it. It's like if somebody's, and there are items I can see that being where people would never look them up. Like, and you can check your bingo card if you didn't earlier, the Taylor Swift vinyl
Mm-hmm.
that any reasonable person who was unaware would be like, well, okay, this is worth, $20-$30 max because it's a vinyl record. And don't know that they're selling for $1,000 or $2,000 because people are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That I can see happening. Less now. I mean, I don't know if anybody pulls out of their garage or, grandpa died and left you a bunch of comic books and baseball cards. If you put out a bunch of Mickey Mantle cards and are like, quarter, well, then you deserve it. Because you should realize that those things are worth money.
Yeah.
But there are things where it's like, it might just fly right under the radar. Like, I didn't realize this is a painting by an artist that became famous, but I didn't know who it was. That I can see happening. And I don't know if I feel bad for the people that sell the stuff and then find that it was worth a ton of money. And you see this on the shows that deal with these kind of transactions. I remember a few with American Pickers. I'm not sure that's even around anymore. Where they went in.
Garage Pickers?
The American Pickers.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Fritz and the other guy, Mike Wolf,
okay,
and Frank Fritz. You never see? Oh, it's on the History Channel or something. The same one Pawn Stars is on. And I think they went for like 20 years. They may still be around. They had a store in Iowa, and then they bought a store in Nashville. But there were a couple of times that they bought an item from somebody and found out it was worth a ton of money, and actually went back and gave the people more money for it. And although we know it's all fake on Pawn Stars, that there have been times where it's like somebody comes in and be like, I want to sell this. Well, how much do you want for it? $1,000. Well, I know it's worth at least $100,000. So, it's like you don't want to, if you're a buyer, there is a certain amount of profit.
The fake Pawn Stars one where what's the chick from Friends?
Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah, her. Where she came in to sell an Oscar?
No, so it's just that
was a hilarious one.
Like, how much for this? Who are you? And why?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's like, well, so what'd you get this one? He's like, well, I actually want it. You want it for what? And the pawn guy was played by the Breaking Bad guy.
The old one or the young one?
The old one.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. So Bryan Cranston was like the old curmudgeon-y pawn shop owner,
which he is really good at.
He is pretty good. He's a total idiot if you actually watch non-scripted things he does. He's a socialist.
Yeah, but he's from the area here, I think, in the Chicago area.
That makes sense.
That's what we breed here.
But as far as something in there. But as far as the characters that he plays there, he's fully committed. He's very good at portraying that character.
And he's like, who are you? Although, to be fair, Jennifer Aniston now, after all of the Botox or other work that she's had done,
not nearly as good.
It does not look like the same person.
No, but she, I think, looks better than other people that have done all the work that she's had done. But she definitely doesn't look the way she looked before the work. And I think I'm a big fan of just aging. I think people should just.
I enjoy getting older too.
Aging.
Gene.
What?
I enjoy getting older too.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people.
Oh, sorry.
And so this whole crazy notion of trying to stay young I think they want to stay young, but what they achieve is looking plastic.
Yes, not real.
Yeah.
This is not like, well, you could look young forever. It's like, no, you cannot.
One of the best movies that you've never seen, Brazil, talked about that back 30 years ago. And this sort of rich person drive to de-age. Which, anyway, I was at the event I was at. There was definitely a few people that were into that stuff.
Sorry, just popping some pills here to live forever.
I know, exactly. There was a few doctors that specialize in that. In fact, one of my potential clients I'm trying to get is the company that does that kind of stuff. So you never know. Maybe if I end up working with them, maybe I'll all of a sudden get a black beard again because I've gotten younger.
Well, yeah, you're making a Benjamin Button, just go in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, supposedly when you inject like children's blood, it makes you younger. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out.
You're like, well, if we can just take newer stuff and put it inside you, then it'll have that effect.
Because you are what you eat. Hillary Clinton has proven that. So,
Buzzard, she eats lots of buzzards.
Buzzards.
Buzzard meat. She looks just like the buzzards from those old cartoons.
She kind of does, doesn't she?
Heckle and Jekyll, right? Was that the old buzzards?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Kind of sounds like him when she talks, too, when you think about it. Yeah.
For sure. See, Alex Jones has a new game out.
Alex Jones is putting games out? Does he have spaceships?
I would take that as a no.
Can you buy silver and boner pills from the Alex Jones company?
It's not boner pills. It's Alex Jones game.
Wait, you could be Alex Jones in the game?
I think so.
I don't know.
Let's find out. There it is.
There's a lot of fantasies
New
people
World Order
want to live out
with Alex Jones. It's a real game that you can buy for real money.
Well, if it's got real money involved, then we know it's good. I pity
the fool that doesn't buy this game.
Wait, they're doing a Mr. T thing and mixed it in with the Alex Jones?
It's got Mr. T. It's got Donald Trump in there.
Oh, nice.
It has the villains are George Soros and Hillary Clinton.
It sounds like real life.
It's a real game, man. And it for people that can't see the visuals that I'm showing right now.
It's the new game of life, which is nobody. When I can see visuals, where can I see them?
Just go to alexjonesgame.com.
Oh, because I didn't even know. I didn't have that window open with the Squadcast. So now I'm seeing things.
Yeah.
And
it's since you guys can't see it on the podcast, you play it similar to Donkey Kong it's a side scroller.
Oh, dude. Donkey Kong wasn't a side scroller. They went up in Donkey Kong, just to be fair.
Okay, fine. But
what you're talking about is like Pitfall. That was the first game that did this that I remember.
Pitfall was a side scroller. You're right. That's a good call. Yeah. Look at you knowing video games.
Dude, I used to play video games back when I could see.
So you can buy it right now on sale for $17.76.
Well, that's very patriotic.
And Alex is the main character and he does the voice.
Pitfall used to be so infuriating back
Alex
in the day.
Is struggling right now. They are trying to shut down InfoWars.
Well, they have been trying for a long time.
Well, he's out of money now.
Well, that makes it tougher.
So he's looking for a donation, sort of like I am.
Come on, man. Give me some money.
He needs to get $8 million by the end of the year.
Well, that's way more than we need. So just give it to us instead. And at least we'll be okay. We don't really care about Alex. He had a good run.
Hey, now we care about Alex.
He had a good run. He needs to come up with a new concept. Zeus MK. Okay, now we're back in spaceships. Now I can see what's going on here. $135, $150. Why are there different prices on this?
Well, they're all different.
Oh, well, I mean that I see, but I guess different options,
different ships, different. Yeah, a Star Citizen, which is the game we were originally talking about, they have I think over 200 flyable ships now, and like 300 total.
Do they have ships that aren't flyable? What's that all about? I'm like buying a car that I can't drive.
Correct.
Is this what it's like?
That is correct. So I'll give you an example of a non-flyable ship, and that's basically what a non-flyable ship is
Just
a
for
ship that hasn't been released yet.
Oh,
but it's still for sale.
I thought it was
So-
like a stabbing cabin.
So,
like, I
like the
could buy a
Merchant Man right
VW.
here, the Merchant Man is a ship that has not yet been released, so it's non-flyable, and it's $650.
Do they show you how many people have purchased these? I mean, I see like a 0% underneath. Is that like
There's-
what kind of stock is left? Or
Oh yeah. Some of them are the limited stock as well. Yeah, this one isn't. This one's available, but it's they don't tell you how many have bought, but there are certainly some statistics when it comes to money that they're making.
those lines seem to be getting longer.
So total raised 624 million.
So this is what they're doing to fund the game is that they come out with new items that you can then purchase to use in the game.
Yeah, which they won't actually make for years.
Well, we could do that.
Well, could we? Because it's a pretty good racket if you can do it. I'm telling you right now. I mean, I've got all the financials right here. This is, like I said, this is the fun part of the game for me.
Watching the financials and how they're doing, they're doing it wrong, then, Gene.
Market manipulations and, totally legitimate things.
Totally legitimate ways they move people's money from their wallets into their wallets.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
We're not happy until you're not happy.
You can see in 2023, they are quite a bit behind where they were in 2024. But so they've got.
Well, this is the big Black Friday sale going on.
It is. They've got 2.5 months to make this big red thing. So this right here, 4 million. This red box that I'm looking at that nobody can see other than you is 4 million. That was today.
They made $4 million today.
So far today in the last 36 minutes.
Let's see. We've been doing a podcast for 36 minutes. Have we made less or more than 4 million? Let me look at the numbers.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Less. It turns out less.
Really?
Yeah. We're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Do
Apparently.
we have to just produce a virtual podcast that nobody can actually listen to for 20
I think
years?
What we need to do is maybe sell podcasts that we haven't yet released.
Yes, that's a great idea.
I know, right?
DigiGuru would totally be into buying some of those.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
I think so.
Cool.
It would be if we said it was.
Yeah. So this is my ships that I own that I'm scrolling through.
Wait, this is your
my garage.
inventory.
My garage, yeah. As you
That's-
can see, I'm an admiral.
Definitely. Admiral fucking A is what it is.
Admiral fucking A.
Right here
Exactly
on the Unrelenting podcast. Gene has more
Mhm.
spaceships than
God.
well, I was going to say, that is probably true. But although God could he could strike you down. But you do have you have more spaceships than I have Taylor Swift vinyl records, and I know
Ooh, now that's saying something.
the vinyl records are cheaper than the.
These are all
spaceships, too.
investments. These are all technically investments.
And you have like 6 or 5 of this one type. So this is again in the hopes that one day people will want to buy those.
In the hopes that someday they'll make it. And then someday after they make it, people will want to fly it.
And they can't just reproduce and make another billion of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but the price will be higher.
It is all economics, kids. That's what you come to Unrelenting to learn.
That's right.
You
That's
come
where we
here.
teach the kids to have a career.
We teach you about the capitalist system, which is the things that are enjoyed are funded.
Mhm.
Money gets to them, whether it is your favorite restaurant, whether it's your favorite musician, whether it's your favorite video game. It's all the same thing.
Let me ask you a question. What flavor ice cream do you like?
Well, you've got me hooked on, and I haven't had it in a few months, but the Haagen-Dazs coffee is really good.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, that is the truth, and that breaks the joke because that's the same one that I like. God damn it. Okay. So pretend you like a different flavor.
Okay, I like Rocky Road.
Rocky Road. I can't believe you're such an anti-Semite.
Wait, is it because the road's rocky and it's been bombed in Gaza?
No,
and
it's
that
because the joke is that, and it's not my joke. I heard it, but it's basically that all it takes for somebody to call you an anti-Semite right now is to disagree with them on what flavor ice cream you like.
Yes, how dare you?
How
dare you not be in lockstep?
Yeah. That's very anti-Semitic to like a different flavor ice cream. But then you broke the joke by liking the same flavor that I do.
Right, because before that, I mean, before we had the Haagen-Dazs talk, I'd have probably just been like, I don't know, I just have, chocolate or something.
Yeah. But it's that coffee is so good.
I know. It's like, which is why you can't buy it regularly. It's just
I know.
like, nope,
I know.
not
But
going to do it.
this is the other amazing thing about it is there's only 5 ingredients in there. That's it.
And it tastes good.
Tastes better than just about any other ice cream.
Well, because you don't want it to be over-processed.
No.
Back in the day when they were making ice cream, I mean, you poured in like, cream and sugar.
Yeah, well, that's 2 of them. Cream, sugar, coffee,
little
eggs.
Vanilla or something in there.
Nope, no vanilla.
Nothing in
and
there.
milk.
Milk.
That's
there
it.
you go.
It's that combination, and that's all it is. And I've made a homemade version of that, and it did not taste as good. But the homemade version I made with heavy cream and espresso.
Ooh.
And just kind of did things by trial and error, but it was good. But it wasn't as tasty as the Haagen-Dazs is.
Yeah, the ratios are important.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing. I guess if you experiment enough times, you might be able to come up with it. But it's not like they tell you what the ratios are in the.
And it's
on the
great to throw in the caffeine with the ice cream, because otherwise you're like, you have the ice cream and you're like, oh, I'm going to have that sugar and then it's going to crash. No, caffeine. Boom.
Yeah.
Although you might have a caffeine and sugar crash at the same time then.
That may be definitely a thing that could happen.
Explain the items that are loaners and not in your hanger here.
Still looking at my screen. Yeah.
I'm like, well,
so
wait, I see. So it's like these are things you don't own.
Yeah. The loaners are ships that they give you until they make the ship they haven't made yet.
Oh, so it's like if you take your car into the shop and they're like,
that's exactly what it is. It's a loaner.
Hey, take this one, Gene.
Yeah. It's like your big $650 ship's not manufactured yet. So we're going to just give you one of these things. And, I don't know if any of these have any. So we'll give you like one of these for $200 while you're waiting for your $600 one.
What is insurance?
You're really digging into the game. So insurance is for in-game. So essentially, as you can imagine, it's a space game. It's a multiplayer game, and part of the game is shooting each other.
Oh, people are trying to kill you in the game.
Yeah. People are trying to kill you. You're trying to kill
just
other
like
people.
real life.
It's like real life. So at a certain point, your ship will blow up. And if you would like to not have to buy another ship, then you need insurance.
At a certain point, your ship will blow up. This is very much like life.
It is life. It's just, virtual.
Which maybe is better.
Yeah.
Now,
so
you're very into this right now. I just want to double check, make sure your health is okay. Did you order your groceries for the week?
Don't need to. I actually stopped by the grocery store 2 days ago when I came back from my conference.
You went into a grocery store.
I know. I had to put on triple masks just in case, because I wouldn't want to breathe that same air.
And it
I didn't do it because of COVID.
You're like,
nothing to do with COVID.
Right. It's just the people in the grocery store. You're like,
pretty much. I don't want to breathe something somebody exhaled.
That would make sense.
No. But picked up some more tea and.
I mean, do you need to have a whole cart when you go just for the iced tea, and that you just drag that along with everything else?
You can't carry that much iced tea. No, I never pick up more than 15 things of tea, which is like 22.5 liters.
Has anybody else ever bought 15 bottles of iced tea on a grocery? Not a single serve. Anybody buy 15 of the large, whatever they are? Not quite a gallon, right? They're
like 1.5 liter bottles.
Has anybody ever done that in one trip? I need to order another one of the glass jars so I can have the constant one iced tea brewing. So because there's nothing worse than like the wife will get down to like there's less than a glass left, and then you're like, well, now I have to wait hours for the next batch to be ready.
When you're brewing it in your fridge, you are doing it in your fridge, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Do you take out the tea bags at a certain point, or do you leave them in there?
Leave them in. But I mean,
so your consistency of the tea, your strength of the tea varies depending on when you drink it out of there.
it may get a little stronger at the end, although not much, because it's usually it's gone within a day. So,
okay.
It's not like it's sitting in there for days. So
it's like a gallon jug.
Yeah, about there, a little less.
Yeah.
But now if you had two of those, then we'd always have one ready.
Yeah, rotate them. Yeah.
You got to do the rotating.
I bought a new freezer.
Well, why wouldn't you? Now, you can't put virtual spaceships in them, but you can.
No. I could put real rabbits in it, though.
Yeah, I saw there was a commercial the other day. Must have been during the Blackhawk hockey game. One of these places like, you get a garage-ready freezer for like $300. I'm like, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just always wonder if it's good
and
for
free delivery. That was the best part.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
But with as cold as it gets in Chicago, I always wondered. I mean, even though I know it's a freezer and I understand what it's doing, and I also understand that in our garage in the summer, like you would have there, it's in the 100 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, is this something is that a good place to put a freezer? I mean, I know I could probably put one in the basement, find a.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to certainly suck a little bit of juice, but the reality is in my case, for sure, with the garage freezer, I'm going to open it only when I need to feed the snake, which means it's like it's almost never going to get open during the week. Just maybe once a weekend or once every other weekend. And so you're not letting out you're not letting in the heat, I should say.
Right.
And so it's not going to be that. I mean, it's got better insulation than a cooler. And you can, in a decent cooler, you can leave a piece of ice in there for 3 days.
I just wondered how long it actually lasts in that kind of environment, being it's an extreme temperature.
10 years.
CSB's got a new, it's pointed out by Sir Bemrose in the troll room, available at trollroom.io. He liked our bit about the only accepting being arrogant podcasters, and we both look like butterball turkeys. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. We're like each 8,000 pounds.
Oh, nice.
8,000 pounds. Thank you, CSB. We will get you back.
Mm-hmm.
We will get you
back. So all he has to do is just post that cartoon along with the donation, and then we will talk about it.
For some reason, I mean, we know this is AI art, but if each of us have like 2 microphones, or wait, I think I have 3.
Mm-hmm.
You have one that's just like on your belly. So I don't know if there's something going on there where that's important. You got to do better, CSB. You got to get rid of those excess microphones. You can do better. And Gene and I are never sitting at a table across from each other.
No, we pretend to be.
It's just virtual, like his spaceships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But thank you, CSB, for taking what we've got and putting it into art so quickly.
Well, how were we talking about turkeys? What did we put into art?
That we were talking about only accepting donations over a certain amount if we were going to read things. The arrogance of podcasters. It's like we were kidding, CSB. Humor, my friend. It doesn't translate to Polish, I guess.
You can play that game.
Can we?
Mm-hmm.
We can. I can make AI art.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Of Pomeranian dog.
Yeah. Let's make an art piece of a Pomeranian instead of a turkey on the table.
Ooh.
At Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Would you really want to carve up a good Pomeranian?
Oh man, I hear they're tasty.
Tasty little pups.
Uh-huh.
We have our turkey ordered for Thanksgiving. We don't make our own stuff. We just pick them up.
I gotta share this. This is too funny. Man.
Does anybody actually cook on Thanksgiving?
Sure. Why not? I'm
sure they do.
It's a Polish turkey.
A Polish turkey. Well, that's a very nice vest that turkey's wearing.
Isn't it? I'm going to post this right now live as we're recording the podcast on No Agenda Social so that everybody else can laugh along with us.
So now you'll know if you're listening to this not live. Does anybody listen not live?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure.
Well, you shouldn't have the stats to know who doesn't listen live.
Now, we do have, as long as we're talking about donations, we do have a donation to Acknowledge today.
Oh, okay. Cool.
This is yet another episode of Unrelenting, and there have been quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
Brought to you by Dale from Down Under. Comes in again with 103.48.
Wow. Look at that.
And
Dale, you're the man.
he always has a note like, don't share with Gene.
Okay. Nice.
He's like,
Dale,
no.
you're not the man.
He's like, I don't say that. Yeah, but Gene doesn't know. See, that's the beauty. He says, comrades.
Wait, how much of his donation?
$103.48.
No, you read that wrong, dude. That's not $103.
Oh, how many Satoshis is it?
That is 288,045 Satoshis.
Woo!
That's what a real donation looks like.
That is over 250,000 Satoshis, boys
That's
and
over
girls.
250,000 Satoshis. Damn straight.
That is quite awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See, CSB, you see why we talk about all those little Satoshis? You see why? Because
they're
Dale
little.
coming in with over 250,000 or right about it. It's moving around. Let's see, what is Bitcoin doing today? Looks like it's up a little bit. I noticed
No, it's
that
down. It's down. It's down. I'll tell you, it's down 2,400 Satoshis.
the Shiba coin that I bought like a year.
No one cares about your shit coins.
I know, I don't. But I bought it at $50 and I was expecting it to go to 0.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went to 100, and then it went down to like 30, and now it's back at $49.30. So it really
Nice.
just doesn't. It's just a good place to hide money, I guess, because it's been fairly stable. But the note
that's
here,
the only way Alex Jones has been paying his bills.
with Bitcoin.
Yeah, apparently someone donated $8 million worth of Bitcoin to him.
Oh no, we could use that. If somebody has $8 million
Yeah, we could.
in Bitcoin, we could keep this show going. You know what? If somebody sent us $8 million in Bitcoin or any other funds,
Yeah, we'd probably end the show is what would happen.
no, we'd make it a daily show for $8 million for at least a year.
For $8 million, I would take that money and run.
Which is Gene would never be heard from again.
Nope.
He'd
I'm
be
like,
on a virtual spaceship.
I've achieved what I set out to achieve. I am done.
Be like, this is value for value. And this was the conversation that our buddy Progo tried to engage CSB with, which is do not donate to shows for what you're going to get in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Donate for what you have gotten in the past. Meaning if you donate to a show and then it never does a show ever again, you're not like, oh, I didn't get what I paid for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you want to donate for the joy that you have gotten in the past and the hope perhaps of what you'll get in the future. But it's not you don't want it to be a business thing. You don't want to be like, here, I'll give you money if you just read this. Just enjoy that you're helping those shows along, CSB. And it's a bonus. It's a bonus when the notes get read. I mean, now when Dale sends in his 200.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll always talk about Dale.
Then we have I'm like, I remember there was something on the last show that we mentioned a story or something about Australia. And I'm like, Dale, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, here he is again.
Mm-hmm.
Comrades, what a time to be alive. I mean, he doesn't even know about the Black Friday sale on the virtual spaceships.
He might.
He might be in the loop.
He might.
He'd be like, Gene, here's more money to feed your insane desire to own every piece of a video game that's never coming out.
I know, right?
We've gone back 20 years, he says. Frasier and Seinfeld back. Now, Frasier is back, yes, and Seinfeld being teased back.
Really? Yeah, I don't know how that's going to run.
Team America World Police just released to cinema. Now, is that, maybe he's talking about we're going back 20 years in time.
Oh, well, I mean, I think it is a good time to have theaters playing Team America World Police. That totally makes sense.
It could run side by side with the Taylor Swift concert film and see which fans make more noise.
Mm-hmm.
That was the problem that some of these movie theaters were having with the Taylor Swift running next to other movies, theaters, because, loud. Like nothing worse. So you're probably sitting there, if you go to a movie, maybe you take your lady, you're going to see a nice little romantic comedy, and then all you just hear is, can't even hear the sound. You can't even hear what they're saying in your movie. He says, Team America World Police just released to cinema. Fuck yeah. Badass to fat ass and back again. Well, I don't know which part we're at now. According to CSB, we are totally in fat ass right now. We need to go back to badass. My Journey, Gene Nevtuliev, illustrated by CSB. It's unrelenting. Oh my, see, Dale may be from the future because that's literally what his note says.
Really?
Badass to fat ass and back again. My Journey, Gene Nevtuliev, illustrated by CSB. It's unrelenting.
Wow.
Now you're worrying us, Dale. You are like
Yeah, man.
a time traveler.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that Gene's life is being illustrated by CSB? And who else would you choose to illustrate your life when it comes down to it? Maybe anybody else? But thank
Who's
you,
life?
Dale. We appreciate that. And then, we had that boostagram from CSB, but it's only 10,000 Satoshis. How many was,
that's
how many was Dale's? Like
288,000.
Damn, CSB. I mean, you are being outshone, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But he is consistent. I mean, I'll give CSB that. And he says, howdy, Gene and Darren. I liked in the message that he sent over to Curry and the Keeper that the show that two good old boys is from two Texans, although one's not a Texan.
I know. You mentioned that. Yeah.
One Texan and one Russian from Minneapolis, St. Paul area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you should have, CSB. Put that in the next one. Please invite your listeners to visit my cartoon blog at www.csb.lol. Yeah, everybody knows www.csb.lol is where you go for the lols, CSB. And you can follow CSB on Twitter/X. No, it's just X. At CSB, 3 letters, C, S, and B. He'll follow back, so you will not only get to see the cartoons where he makes us look like total fat slobs with 18 microphones, you will be able to get all of the CSB cartoons, and he will follow you back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just imagine, you could tell your friends, like, CSB follows me. I mean, I don't think there was anybody on Twitter that I was ever like, dude, I got to follow from, except maybe JCD and the Podfather back. That was like, that's awesome.
You got them to follow you?
Yeah.
Jesus.
They don't follow you?
No.
Well, there's a reason for that. I mean, they've seen
I
your
post too much.
They've seen your posts.
Uh-huh.
Yo, CSB, do some more good artwork, though. I mean, maybe you can slim us down a little. I did 30 minutes on the bike already this morning.
Did you?
Yeah. And of course, the little, what's not little, but the recumbent bike, which was totally quiet for the first like month and a half, 2 months, whatever I've had this. All of a sudden, now it's like, when you pedal the thing. So,
wow.
I know I'm going to need a recommendation. I'll probably have to bite the bullet at some point, but nice artwork. Bob Moranian wearing a turkey costume. Nice.
Uh-huh.
But at some point, I'll probably have to get one of those, like the recumbent bikes that when you go into a nice gym, a nice workout place, probably need to get a professional kind of a unit so it doesn't fall apart after like a year or two of use.
That's what she said.
Exactly. I fell apart years ago.
Yes. She needs a professional unit.
And
one that doesn't fall apart after a year.
Have you seen Adriana Lima? I mean, it might fall apart now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it used to just work fine, and now you look at her and you're like, now I can see why maybe the unit's having some issues. But thank you, Dale. And thank you, CSB, for your boost. If anybody wants to boost, you know how to do it. Newpodcastapps.com. If you want to be like Dale, if you want to help support this show, and you should if you're listening, value for value, unrelenting.show is the place you need to go for all of the information.
Mm-hmm.
A Pomeranian in a turkey costume. It
is festive. It's seasonal.
It is adorable, which it was just through the Bing image creator, huh?
Uh-huh. Yep.
DALL-E.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how good these things are getting, how quickly.
They're getting gooder.
They're getting gooder. There you go. You heard it here on the Good Old Boys podcast. They're getting gooder.
Hell yeah.
They're getting gooder at what they do. Let me tell you what. That's right, boy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The photorealism is the scariest part.
Oh, yeah. That turkey looked really good.
And I can say that we know, without a doubt, presidential election now this next year is going to be filled with as much as you can stand fake video, fake audio,
it's
fake
gonna
images.
be off the charts.
People are not
Everyone's
know.
default position ought to be that, well, that's got to be fake.
Yes. Oh, now here's a good boost. Our buddy Omega Project with 33,333 Satoshis.
Mm-hmm.
When does the CSB hour end?
Yeah, right? Exactly. People are getting tired of it. Yeah. Yeah, well, they don't realize in the back end, he's ending us real money, not just these pathetically small SAT donations.
Right. This is all just CSB's not even sending us money.
We're almost up top the hour, so it means we can stop talking about them.
Oh, so there's the hour of this is like
the CSB hour.
Yeah, the advertisement hour. The next hour brought to you by Omega Project and Dale from Down Under. Unrelenting. Buy Gina Spaceship. Now, can somebody buy one of these and send them to you?
Yes.
This is even better.
It's a thing. You can do it, but
do you have a wish list?
Don't do that because I have all of them.
It's like Amazon. You can just have your own wish list.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Get that wish list out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want Gene to buy you a spaceship, then that's an even better way to go. But that 33,333 right now is $12. I remember when that was like way less. I mean, granted, I understand this is Bitcoin went from what, 16 to what is it now? Like 30?
35,997.
Damn. I mean, that's why everybody says to hold.
Hey, CSB, it's under 36. You better buy some.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There you go.
That's too funny.
That's why I got a gift card.
I still had plenty that I bought at like 50,000. So, you know, but I also bought a bunch of 20 something. So
it evens itself out.
Yeah, it evens itself out. It's just I was not smart enough to buy any at like $10.
Oh, right. Because then we would never have to do anything.
Because then I wouldn't be podcasting. Because, podcasting is the best way to make money.
It is, really.
Mm-hmm.
It says for $8 million, Gene would elope
for lazy people
with Brian Brushwood and never be seen again. That's what DigiGuru says. I think.
I
don't think Brian's quite his type. But
no. Well, Brian has a drinking problem.
Which kind? Like too much iced tea?
Yeah, too much iced tea drinking. No. He's fun to hang out with. The guy's memory is non-existent. Like, he does not remember diddly squat.
That's not good for a magician who eats fire.
Thankfully, he doesn't do that anymore.
You don't want to forget the technique while you're sticking the fire.
I think he's fully transitioned from being a magician to being a store operator.
Media guy.
A salesman.
Yeah, he's a good salesman.
Yeah. No, he is. He's a good salesman. I was hoping I'd catch him actually this week at that event I was at, but he wasn't there.
Did he ever release that second in this? I don't know if it's a series or not, but he did that one audio book, for lack of a better term. And then there's been nothing since then. And that was pretty good.
Yeah. Because last time I talked to him, he was working on the second one.
Because the first one was pretty good. It was an interesting story. And I liked that. I mean, the wife listened to a lot of audiobooks. And I'm always still in the mindset that an audiobook is nothing more than somebody reading word for word what's in the book and nothing else. And a lot of them have moved on from that with some sound effects, maybe a little mood music in the background.
Yeah, that's not really an audiobook then. I mean, that's more of a radio teleplay.
It's especially when you get to be into a full group of people, a full ensemble cast doing all the different voices. Although I like the idea of different people doing different voices, which is why, I'm intrigued by things like the AI, where you can do a narrator that tells the story and then have different voices doing the character. Because there's nothing worse than like a male voice, a deep male voice, reading a female line.
Right.
So I get wanting to have maybe the dialogue separated out.
Yeah.
But some of those, they're full on productions.
Yeah. Most of the ones that I've bought have just been the traditional audiobook kind where it's just one person doing everything. But I mean, I'm not opposed to the sort of radio teleplay stuff either.
They're entertaining.
That's what the world was, the original one.
Yes.
That, what's his face did?
Gorson Welles.
That guy, yeah.
Good old what's his face. We did just get another 3333 boost from CSB who says,
don't talk about me.
Yes.
So why are you talking about
yes.
me?
Yes. Don't talk about me.
Yes.
Reading my
did
boostergram is
up
enough.
Over the threshold of $10. So he's good to go now.
Now, here's what I'm kind of curious about. I know the normal Gene attitude. So CSB telling you not to talk about him. Now, I could see you either going one way or the other, and one way would be to talk about, right, there's that, and then there's nothing but CSB for another hour because he told you not to do something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you're like, okay, now you're dead to me, CSB.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm going to start talking about our brand new friend, CBS.
Yeah, CBS. Can you get CBS to send us some money?
Right. See, now that would be a donation.
CBS.
Brought to you by CBS.
I don't know that CBS has the money to donate right now. Nobody's watching CBS.
Well, that may be true. That's
a crazy thing.
Well, that is when you look at all of these things with the television ratings, and they still have Nielsen and these things that they try to guesstimate how many people consume.
Mm-hmm.
It's nearly impossible to truly figure out the numbers. If anything is available on streaming, it's also really hard because there is piracy, and piracy is still a big part of what's going on here. And it's funny because even when I have had the Apple Plus, which anytime you buy a new Apple device, you're like, here, boss, have 3 months, 6 months a year.
Get 3 months. Yeah.
So even when I have Apple Plus, if I'm watching something and I haven't gotten into the third season yet of the morning show because I've heard it sucks from both Adam
totally
Curry
sucks, yeah.
and
I watched half of it, half the season.
It's like, okay, the first season was fantastic.
Yeah, because it had men in it.
Well, and okay, so is that it's dropping off, and the story was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there was a plot, and there's nothing worse than a television series that has like 1 or 2 seasons worth of ideas.
Yeah.
They hit that story arc and they're like, hey, we'll give you another 5 years. And they're like, okay. Now what do we do?
I think that's what happened.
Some shows are meant to die.
It's just stupid. It's like this season, it was all shit no one cares about, like lesbian stuff and not the good kind. And, emotions and whose feelings were hurt. And did somebody like not advance somebody because they were black or a woman or whatever? Who cares?
Oh, so it's totally woke.
It's deeper than ever in that direction. Yeah. And remember, timeline wise, this season takes place during the height of COVID.
Wow.
Because they're always a year behind or a couple of years behind in the news cycle. So, Trump is president. Everyone's got Trump derangement syndrome. And COVID's full on. Everyone's double masking.
Well, see, now that would be a great television show. Everybody has at least 3 masks on.
You come to Austin.
That's what it's like. Just walk down the street. And then there's Gene.
It's not that bad, but there are certainly parts where it is exactly that. And
you're like, did the mask ever save you in the past? Just curious. Curious.
I'm sure all the people that had COVID 6 times while being double jabbed and triple masked,
right?
They would tell you that that's the only reason they're still alive.
Right. Just imagine what it could have been.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like not how it works.
Some of the rest of us that, theoretically are the highest risk factor, having diabetes and stuff.
And you're 800 pounds is represented 800 pounds, in diabetes. Comic strip. Yes, I can't say his name in some guy's art.
And yet, even when I had COVID, I didn't die.
Really? You didn't?
Yeah, I know.
I know why you didn't die.
Technically, I think I didn't die because Adam brought over a ivermectin to me. So
the magic pack. Yeah, well, the ivermectin along with whatever else there was. I know there was like a whole magical pack.
I don't know. I just had a picture of a horse on the side of it. I don't know what was in there.
Well, did he have to inject it? Did he have to give you it suppositorily up the ass? Is that how these things go with horses?
No. I have a machine for that.
Oh, well, that's good. You got to keep that machine clean. And when I was honored that he offered one of those packs when I got the COVID, and it's like, it's just a cold, and it was drink a lot of fluids. And I didn't have the ivermectin, of course, but the vitamin D, the zinc, and the quercetin, and all that seemed to do.
And I think the interesting thing with the COVID is it's actually the opposite of the flu for better results is you want to be in an extremely dry environment
to dry everything out. I would make
so like Arizona.
That like you'll still catch it, but the dry
Well, you
air.
might catch it, but the net effect is, what happens is your lungs are inflamed, and so they start filling with fluid, as is usually the case. But the lungs are made of semi-permeable membranes, which means that fluid can evaporate. But if you're sitting in a humid environment, it's not going to evaporate.
Right, which is everybody tells you
lungs.
If you have a cold or the flu, it's like run that humidifier.
Yeah, and it's probably good advice for the actual flu, but for COVID, I was doing the opposite. I was running the dehumidifier, and that was definitely, I think, accelerating the speed of my lungs drying out.
Hey, I'm just surprised that I still
it's just like carpet. Lungs, carpet, same difference.
Exactly. This is not medical advice. Please do not use the advice you got from the Unrelenting Show
Yes,
to
no medical or legal advice offered here.
Make medical decisions. But I'm surprised. I've been taking since the tooth infection when I had that earache, however many weeks ago that was. Every 12 hours, I've been taking Mucinex, and I still have some congestion. So, although the pain in the tooth never came back, so there's
that's good. That's good.
That's a good sign. And I think I mentioned the doctor's like, no, you could take the Mucinex all you want. They give it to pregnant people, women that want to become pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those off-label uses. And it's like, that's interesting. He's like, well, it helps your, all the mucus kind of be more free-flowing or something, whatever. I'm like, okay. But getting back to the Apple Plus, it's like when I see shows that I want to watch, even if I have the service, when I see them on the usual sites where you can download them via, say, torrent, I still download them. It doesn't matter if I can legally get them. It's way more convenient to be able to go, well, if the internet's down and I want to watch it, it's better to have it on my own system.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no doubt about that. More convenient. I mean,
but I never rewatch anything.
You've never rewatched anything?
Not really.
That's weird.
Is it?
I mean, I know there's a lot of content out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's YouTube, so I mean, you have limitless choices.
Yeah. There's more new content added to YouTube every day than was created in the first 90 years of content.
But the way I look at it is a lot of the new content sucks, so I go back to the old content.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not big into rewatching things over and over again. I mean, I think there are people out there, we were talking about Jennifer Aniston, that watch Friends nightly no matter what. And then, when they get to the end of the series, they go back to the start and that's their thing. And it's like, I dip in and out. Like I've watched MASH a few times, but usually you let enough time go by to where when you watch the episode, you don't necessarily remember 100%. Now, if you're watching an episode, you know what the next line's going to be all the time. You may have seen it a little too much. But there are some of the shows I think that are worthy of rewatching, as I've mentioned, watching, especially things you saw as a kid. Because I watched the Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie way differently at this age than I did when I was like 10. Because now you're like, Jeannie's way hotter.
Now you got to watch it for like a whole hour and a half. And back when you were 12, you could watch it for 3 minutes.
Right. Done. Exactly. Now it is an extended thing.
Now you're like, oh, what's the next episode about?
Yeah, let's go to the next. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? But some of the old TV was really good. It's just they were never meant to be watched in the way we watch them now. And the latest one I've been watching and probably almost done, because I think I'm like in the 4th season of The Rifleman, is the same people play vastly different characters week to week. Because it was not something that people noticed. It wasn't something people cared about. Now, with all these people, with the superhero shows, especially like, oh no, the continuity, we have the. It's like, no, it's like the same dude just playing a completely, it is somewhat confusing. I will give you that. When, in one episode, the guy that played Oscar Goldman in the $6 Million Man was in a couple episodes of The Rifleman. And in like the first time he appeared, he was one of Lucas's, the main character's, Chuck Connor's character's best friends. And then like, a half a season later, he shows up as a totally different person who's not his friend at all. And it's like, that's just a little weird. But I guess back then people didn't remember or didn't pay that close of attention, or maybe the TVs, they were small. You couldn't even see who was on them. Now we expect different things.
Yeah, you could have the same actor playing multiple parts in those.
Digiguru wants to know if you've ever rewatched Idiocracy. I hear that's a good movie.
I probably have, but not like a full sitting, meaning I've watched it, obviously, and then I think I've gotten other people to watch it where I'm at their house or something, and then we'll start watching it, and then eventually they'll be like, okay, I'll finish it later. Let's do something else or whatever. So I've probably seen more than one complete version of it in chunks.
And I think everybody realizes by this point that if I do in fact see Idiocracy or have seen it, I will never admit to it.
Really?
That would be the long running joke, because everybody's like, you've never watched it.
Oh yeah. But you have a ton of good movies you haven't watched.
Really? What's on my list?
Brazil?
Yeah, well, I've never even heard of that one before. You said it was like 30 years old?
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. Is
it better than Blame It on Rio?
Yes, it is better than Blame It on Rio. Blame It on Rio was good only for one thing.
Michael Caine and some hot chick.
Definitely not Michael Caine. That was the only movie where God, what's her name? Bruce Willis's ex-wife.
Demi Moore?
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore?
Pre-boob job.
Oh, well, that's worthy of
every
tracking
movie
down.
after that, she already had her boob job.
So you're
but
like,
she plays the Michael Moore's daughter.
Brazil came out in 1985. Yeah, this does not look familiar.
Really?
I mean, I was 15 when this came out, so it might have been just a little before my time. Robert De Niro, I see, is in it. I'm betting I can find it. Where can I stream it?
You can stream it for free, yeah.
The first review, 10 out of 10. Perhaps the greatest of all films.
Uh-huh. Yes, I had to go and write that real quick for you.
I do believe it. It's like, well, if this thing said it was, must be good. Must be good.
It's very good. It's a incredible dystopian movie that is coming more and more to life every day.
A $15 million budget. Now imagine what $15 million gets you today.
This from 85, barely it's about 4x, so it's really more like 200 million of today's money.
You said 4x?
Yeah, or 60 million.
I was going to say,
yeah.
I can see how you get so many spaceships, Gene. You're like, it's a great deal.
It's an awesome deal, man.
It grossed under 10 million worldwide, so they lost.
They totally lost money on it, yeah.
They lost some money, but it's a classic
But it made
movie.
it all back in the reruns.
As a lot of them will. We'll go to justwatch.com. Is that something you use?
No.
It is a site that you can type in whatever you want.
And
it will tell you where you can stream it.
Huh. Okay.
Now, the only place it's not available for free anywhere, but it is available on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
If you have Apple TV Plus, but I'm guessing there's also a way to, find the movie and
I wouldn't know.
And then download it. Just, to have it.
Yeah, and that was definitely one of the movies I used to have on my server before it died.
3333 just came in from Anonymous with the note, why? Just because. Well, thank you, Anonymous.
Yeah. Who's Anonymous?
I don't know. It just says Anonymous.
Oh. Okay.
So I don't know.
That'll work.
Gene's like, who's Anonymous? It's like, the guy, Anonymous.
The actual Anonymous? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I did see About Last Night. Did you agree that was what, Cusack? Right? Or was that also when Demi Moore he says.
Was she pre the boob job in that one too?
I think so. I remember that one, About Last Night. That one I remember. But okay, I'll put Brazil on the list. What else do I have to put on the list? Is there like something?
There's a whole bunch of these movies that you haven't seen. And we talked about at least like 3-4 of them. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But certainly Idiocracy was the big one.
I mean, a lot of people say Idiocracy is good. I mean, do I believe them? I don't know.
Oh, it's hilarious. It was shot here in Austin.
That doesn't sell it. But I mean, it's a Mike Judge thing, so I like Mike Judge.
Mike, yeah, he lived out here. I don't think he still does, but he used to.
He's like, it got a little too crazy for me.
It's, yeah. I mean, there's scenes of like the highways in Austin in that movie and stuff.
I like that he rebooted Beavis and Butthead too. That was needed in these times, these troubling times that we live in now.
And then, yeah, you know, that's actually something that, God, I'm sucking with names today, man. Tim Pool talked about the other day.
You forgot the Pool Boys name?
I forgot Tim's name, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Is that the Gen Z is fucked when it comes to music because they're such a small generation. They're basically the kids of Gen X, where Gen X was a small generation. Plus Gen X, a lot of Gen Xers didn't have kids like you and I. And
well,
so
none that we know of.
Well, also most of the people I do know never had kids. So it's a much smaller generation. And so he was talking about how a lot of the bands that he liked when he was young, now in their 40s or 50s, are getting big venues and they're playing. And he said this is going to be a real problem for the Zoomers because financially alone, it makes little sense to try and have performances of their generation of music because somebody puts on gets a band in their venue, they're going to make a lot more money when it's a band that the millennials like.
Yeah, the bigger the crowd, the more the money.
Yeah, the bigger crowd, the more the money. And the millennials, as they age up, also have a little more disposable cash than they used to. And you combine all those factors together and you end up with Zoomers being left to, the scraps.
It is going to be a weird thing. I mean, every generation's a little different. And I think the live music scene has greatly changed since I was in high school, college, and moving on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially after COVID, because there's a lot of people that were like,
exactly.
We're little.
I was going to say, I wouldn't even go that far back. When I moved to Austin a little over a decade ago, you couldn't go to a restaurant without having a live band playing.
Which
I mean, it was like every place. I this is not exaggerating. I remember when I first moved to Austin, I could drive from my place and not going very far, going to like Adam's house. And I would hear 3 or 4 different live bands playing on that 1 mile long drive.
There's a lot of bands in Austin.
There are no live music bands in Austin anymore.
But I don't understand why they would just, in restaurants, there have been a few of them around here that did the same thing. And nothing was ever worse than just going in and wanting to have dinner and have a conversation with somebody. And then all of a sudden there's live music. It's like, no, too loud.
It's a little better here because they generally performed on the patio.
So a party atmosphere.
And so you have the patio with the music and the band playing and then you have the air-conditioned indoor area for people that just want to chit-chat.
Hey, that would be me, the air-conditioned area, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been to both. It all depends on what mood you're in, but most places, most bars, restaurants had patios here. And so that's usually where the live music went.
This is a great scheme on doubling our Satoshis. Another 3333 from Anonymous who says, Anonymous is Sir Truck Driver. I wonder why I can't find a place to add my name in Podverse.
Huh. Yeah, you should probably get a support ticket set up for that.
Because there should be. I mean, I know on the web interface of Podverse it's there. I don't know if you're using one of their
Phone
apps.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll your own Android app or whatever. DigiGuru was still on about last night. Rob Lowe and Jim Belushi. So you're not really selling me there on the movie. I mean, I put Idiocracy up there.
Hot babes, not like
right
dudes.
When there used to be hot babes in movies, now no, it's all woke. Where they're hot babes and they're woke, and then you're like, that ruins it. I don't need no hot woke babe.
Yeah, like there was a video I'm sure you've seen that was circulating on YouTube's of this kind of tattooed up muscular woman shooting a video in her car bitching about how no man wants to wife her and how it like she doesn't understand why, but then she looks at the women that are married and like they don't have tattoos, they look feminine, and she's all confused. She's like doesn't like that she's been told a lie. And it's sad. I mean, I'm very sad for her because it's like she's not that bad looking. She's just, you know, you take somebody that's good looking and then you start moving him in the wrong direction. And this is the thing that I think maybe they don't realize until they're much older is that if you tattoo up your body, you're drastically limiting the pool of people who think you look good.
Very true.
And if you're a woman and you go beyond being physically fit into the category of weightlifter or bodybuilder, you're again severely limiting the pool of potential men who think you're attractive. Because the average man does not want to look weaker than the woman he's with.
Like she can break me in half.
That's just reality. Now, you can certainly have, you know, porn videos of that type of thing that some guys will be into. But just from a practical standpoint, if you want to maximize your odds of finding a guy who's a gem, you know, in a sea of rocks, your best bet is to actually be very generic. Just don't do anything that makes you stand out into a small demographic. And then more guys are going to be interested in you, and you may not be interested in them, but at least you'll be able to get those, you know, those swipes coming your way instead of going hard into a small niche and then being shocked that there's like no men.
Right. Well, this is also the same thing as
it. Yeah, it's true for the other way around too. Same thing for guys. It's just it would be different things. Like there's guys that go overboard on certain characteristics that women just don't find all that interesting, especially not these days.
Well, you said it right. It's the big lie with guys. The same thing, but it's also going to affect what kind of jobs you can get, no matter what they want to tell you.
Yeah,
you could be the best lawyer in the world. If you come in looking like Post Malone, they're going to be like, I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's going to take a very special employer to overlook that. Although now, you know, you're totally transphobic if you won't date a trans woman.
That's true. Yeah, that is the thing that you keep hearing is that, and it's actually where I thought it was the most hilarious was there was this lesbian chick that has a YouTube channel that I watch.
I mean, that's not a surprise.
I know, right? That's totally not a surprise.
Gene's like, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there, but lesbians, well, there's less.
Yeah.
Attractive lesbian with the YouTube channel. Gene's like, subscribe.
Yeah. Oh, she's not that attractive.
Oh, unsubscribe.
I mean, she's all right, but she's not.
Don't mash that like button.
She's not like hot or anything. She's just like, you know.
So it'll take 30, 40 minutes then. It won't be like instantaneous. It'll
probably longer.
To be satiated from the videos.
Yeah, probably longer than that. You'll have to watch a lot of ads. But
dude, I pay for YouTube Premium.
She really kind of dropped out of the whole LGBTQ alphabet and just said, look, I'm just a lesbian, period. Because it apparently was considered super insulting if a lesbian doesn't want to date a trans woman
Ooh, interesting.
and suck her cock. It's like, I've never had any interest in sucking cock. Why all of a sudden would I develop an interest in sucking cock just because somebody says that they're now a female? And there's a lot of these trans women that are lesbian trans women, meaning they want to fuck chicks. They just want to dress up as chicks too.
Yeah, they couldn't get any the other way. So
we used to call that transvestite back when people had a bigger vocabulary.
Back when people were going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yeah. And I went to a lot of those. And, it's good fun. And it is like naturally funny to see a grown-ass man wearing female clothes. Monty Python made use of that a lot.
Well, and that's the intriguing
as did Benny
thing.
Hill.
You're right. Well, this is the intriguing thing. Something that had been up until very recently used as comedy. Now it's like, oh no, that's hateful.
Right.
Like, how do you make that, without even having the argument of which way of treating it is correct? It's like, I just don't understand how you make that cultural change that quickly. It doesn't make any sense. Although we're seeing a lot more of this. Even
it's literally like somebody deciding that they're going to start putting on clown makeup every morning.
Right.
And then being offended that people laugh at them.
One of the best lines from Scrubs. Did you ever watch Scrubs?
I did, but not religiously.
It was a pretty good show. Nice cast.
Yeah.
The blonde that was in Roseanne, Sarah Chalk. It was attractive back in her younger days, but I mean, like Adriana Lima now, who knows? Yeah. But there was one episode where she was getting ready to go out and put on a little bit too much makeup, and she asked Dr. Perry Cox, who was played by the legendary John McGinty, I think is his last name. The one from Office Space that he plays, the guy that came in and like, hey, what are you doing? John McGinty, great comic actor. But Sarah Chalk turns to him and she's like, does this makeup make me look like a clown? And he says, no, that makeup makes you look like a prostitute who caters only to clowns. And I'm like, that was one, the comedic timing was great, but just that great turn of phrase. And it's like, oh, that's just a little bit different. Do I look like a clown? No, but you look like a prostitute that's catering to clowns. And it's like, damn. So if anybody ever asks you if their makeup makes them look like a clown, there you go. There's your line.
Yeah.
And then duck and run.
Duck and run.
Dare I ask what your total is up to so far during this show for money expenditures going to virtual spaceships?
Oh, I just bought the one.
Just the one? Okay, well, under $100 then.
$70.
That is surprisingly low for you.
There'll be more released.
Oh, well, okay. It's right. It's like the Taylor Swift stuff. There'll be more.
This event goes on for 3 weeks.
Oh, my goodness. Are they releasing things daily? Do they tell you when? Because
every other day.
I was like, with the drops, and they're saying that this may be at the same time every day. And I'm like, why?
It's Black Friday month.
But why not make it random? Like, and again, with these kind of things, if you have a very low amount of things that you just
I wonder if there's like an exchange board for spaceships for Taylor Swift gear.
There should be. The internet has everything and anything on it.
Yeah, totally.
You can find it. If somebody has thought about it, you can find it.
Huh. Somebody put a corn dog into the Wellington family? That's insane.
One more time. I understood that those were words.
Okay. Do you know what a beef Wellington is?
Yes.
There's a poster somebody made of the Wellington family. So you have the beef Wellington, the grandfather of the Wellington clan. Then you have the corn dog, the black sheep of the Wellington family.
Nice.
The pigs in the blanket, the cool uncle. Hot Pockets, the hipster of the Wellington family. And the Pop-Tart, the vegetarian of the Wellington family.
The Pop-Tart.
I know, that's really a stretch. But the others are probably true. It's basically cooked meat that's baked inside of a bread.
Yeah,
now I'm getting hungry. God damn it. What should I have for lunch?
Pastry. Look for your lunch. Our buddy Sir Truck Driver figured it out. He sent in another, I think, 333. But he has his own show now, too, Rolling On.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It's rollingon.show. And I said, he's just like us, man. I mean, we've got unrelenting.show.
Yeah.
planetrage.show with the show I do with Larry. And
I'll check it out. I'm up for that. I mean, I don't have a huge amount of time because I'm trying to listen to too many audiobooks. So my podcast listening is kind of curtailed, but I'll check out his show.
I just got the audiobook Physical Form from Bill O'Reilly. Killing the
shocker.
Witches. Yeah. I don't listen to them. I mean, audiobooks are something, if I had a commute, I think I would greatly.
You do have a commute. It's just you're stationary while you're commuting.
Right. I just walk down the stairs. And
No, you're riding a bike.
well, this is true.
What
And
are
I
you
have a
doing?
TV
You're
in front of
watching
me.
YouTube videos, aren't you?
I know. I should be
Listen
listening.
to goddamn audiobooks.
It's different. I like more stimulation to make me forget that I'm riding the bike.
Just pretend that it's 10 years later and you're totally blind.
Right. Thanks for that. That's
You're welcome.
like, here's how you go. He'll be in much better shape.
Uh-huh.
Much better shape.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those things. I mean, I saw they just did the first ever eye transplant, which they're not.
I saw it.
Not expecting to get vision out of it, but it's an interesting step.
Wait, why would they do it if he didn't? I thought he got vision.
It was cosmetic. Now he lost
you're
an
kidding.
eye. So it was something that they took an eye from another person.
From a dead person, yeah.
So yeah, rarely do they take them from people that are still alive. Like, hey,
Well,
nice eyes.
Some part of the world,
True. It depends on what you're paying.
Yeah, exactly. I know a guy in Mexico.
But I'm intrigued by like what would be.
You want an eye? I get you an eye. I get you an eye tomorrow.
Right, I could do that. They're very tasty. But
you know where that movie that's from, right?
I remember the line.
Big Lebowski.
Yes, the Big Lebowski.
Yeah. You want a toe? I get you. I get your toe tonight.
We always think of Bemrose because the bathrobe and it's just it's that look, the disheveled look that he has.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a Lebowski.
Could be.
Yeah, he's not bald.
I don't know.
Well, I do.
He doesn't really show photos. He's very.
I know, but I had lunch with him. Remember?
But how do you know it wasn't a wig?
I mean, sure. Why not?
See, you can't. Did you tug on it?
I did not tug on it. No.
Did he ask you to tug on it?
He did not ask for a tug at all.
He's known for that, so you got to be very careful.
Yeah. Although he skipped out on the lunch immediately after somebody paid.
Well, that's it. If somebody else is like pulling out their credit card, you're like, gotta go.
Like, I'm gonna hit the bathroom.
Got it.
Small bladder and all.
Right. Then never came back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, where'd he go? I don't know. In Seattle, he could have been killed.
Could have been.
I can't wait for the police.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you had him on your show and his show or your combined show.
We do have a combined show. I've got a few.
Yeah. You do.
That's why people should support them all.
At some point you'll get enough practice you can go off on your own.
Is there really enough time to practicing when
of podcasting?
Yeah, because I was thinking about the old you need to do something for 10,000 hours, right? That's
yes, that is true. That's if you fly a spaceship for under 10,000 hours, you're not very good.
And I hate that. I hate when I say right. And because now I notice O'Reilly uses look a lot, and it's funny because he hates the cliches, but he'll pull them. Look, like no,
don't say look. That's not a good one. The worst one though is listen.
That's worse than look.
Yeah,
and an audio podcast.
Yeah,
look at what? You got nothing going here.
Because listen is it's so stupid for a number of reasons. The first of which is if they're not listening, they're not going to hear the listen.
That would make sense. Correct.
First of all. Secondly, you're telling them listen, meaning start listening now, which invalidates everything you just said.
Right, because you weren't paying attention
you didn't,
up till now.
Don't worry about that other shit I said. Listen to this part. This is the important part.
This is the vital stuff.
Yeah. And, I guess there's probably a third in there somewhere. I can't think of one, but it's all of these little sayings are stupid. And the one that I tend to have to get rid of the most from my podcast, because I actually edit, unlike you, is
Yeah, and I've gotten those out of mine vocabulary mostly.
Yeah, I still drop way more than I should. I am consciously aware that it's better to have dead air than to say But it doesn't mean that I've completely stopped saying
People get caught up in that. But I was thinking okay, if it takes 10,000 hours, so if it takes 10,000 hours to get good at doing the Unrelenting show, and they're 2 hours apiece, that means by episode 5,000, we will be really, really good at this.
Yeah. Hey, I just realized that I wasn't recording this podcast.
Really? I thought you were. I wasn't recording.
No, that's fun. Awesome.
Hey,
yeah, I just hit the record button now. So, because I totally forgot to do that.
This is why you need 10,000 hours of podcast experience.
Clearly you do. Yeah.
You got to have it. But I was wondering with the eye thing, which is actually easier to do? Replace a complete eye or go in and replace a retina? Because to go in and replace a retina, you have to go into a very fragile organ and do something on the inside of that.
I don't think you could do either.
That's the issue.
Because the problem is that the eye plugs in directly into your brain. It's really just an extension of your nerve cells. The retina is. So when we get to a point where we can individually wire up brain cells, then you can do eye replacements. But
so at this point,
certainly not anywhere near that right now.
I think the closest they're at, like in my case, which is the retina is just beat and battered and has scar tissue on it, you may be able to get to the point where they can do the injections, the stem cell, where the retina
you could
can
totally
regrow.
Do that. I've heard of people that have had eye stem cell injections and it fixes their vision.
And that would be the hope then for this. But for the maximum problems where it's like, you have to rewiring that. And I'm not sure if everybody's eyes are quite wired the same. It's not like it's a USB cord connecting your eye to your brain.
It's not that far from it, honestly, but it's not. Just think of it as not. The problem isn't that it's not like a USB cord where everything's random. The problem is it's like 10,000 USB cords all plugged in.
It's a lot of bandwidth.
And you could theoretically figure out which one is supposed to go where, but it's going to take a while to figure that out. Because the retina is, really, if you look at the, in fact, I was just at this event, like I said, with medical shit. So I was looking at MRI and CAT scan images and stuff.
Well, because, you need all of these things up to date in your home.
You do. Yeah, it's kind of like if you're going to extend your life, you need to make sure that your home is better outfitted than the hospital.
This is what everybody says.
Yeah.
And then you have to have the virtual spaceships.
Well, the virtual spaceships, that's just, make sure that you're able to be engaged.
Yes, sir, Admiral fucking A.
That's right.
That's Gene's new thing. If you see him out at a meetup, be like, Admiral fucking A.
Admiral fucking A.
And he's wearing the jacket. No pants. It'll just be the jacket.
No pants ever.
Right.
Never.
Right.
No.
Maybe some combat boots.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Winnie the Pooh.
A lot of people have said that.
I just wear the top, not the bottom.
A lot of people have made that comparison for so many reasons.
I've never heard of anybody making that comparison, but okay.
The wife fell for it.
He had good taste. He liked honey.
True. Honey is good, especially if it's nice, natural,
unfiltered black honey. Nothing better.
Walking into Disney World one day, the wife had a jacket with Winnie the Pooh on it. And the person that, was standing there to handle back, I don't even know if there are people doing that anymore, was like, oh, you got a little Pooh on your jacket. And she looked like, oh, I get it.
Nice. Speaking of Winnie the Pooh.
Which we do often here.
President of China is in San Francisco.
Yeah, they cleaned up all the ne'er-do-wells.
It's amazing how clean San Francisco looks.
For a week.
Pretty amazing for a week, yeah.
Where do they send them? That's the question. Austin?
Probably. They gave them one-way tickets to Austin, and we'll wait until they come back.
You guys send them back. It's like a ping pong game.
Yeah, it kind of is like a ping pong thing. But interesting thing to me was that not even a week ago, I posted something to the effect of like China's laughing all the way to the bank right now. They've got U.S. distracted between Ukraine and Israel. I'm not saying I have any information saying that they were at all responsible for either one of these, but man, they sure are in a great position as a result of this. And they're watching the collapse of the American economy without having to do anything that points the finger at them. And then I had a response back, which is very typical of the responses you get these days, saying, "Yeah, it's definitely not the Chinese; it's the Jews.
Oh, of
it's
course,
all their fault." And the guy, and then he finished that message with, "Yeah, when I see the Americans bowing to the Chinese, then you can talk about how it's the Chinese that are running things, but right, clearly not them." Less than a week later, you have all the videos of Biden bowing to Xi, and then not just Biden either, obviously, but still calling him a dictator. I mean, that's the fun part. It's like, well, yeah, of course he's still a dictator.
Like, why wouldn't he be?
It's such crazy world shit, man. It's it's amazing.
The Chinese stuff, the weirdest thing is, and I didn't even realize they're doing polling into communist China and how accurate they can be and who's doing this, but it seemed like March, April of this year, about 75% of the Chinese public viewed the United States as an adversary, as an enemy. Now, 45%.
Yeah, because weak. America's weak.
They're weak, and the news that's put out in China, which we all know it's controlled by the government, has been much more favorable all of a sudden about the United States. It's very interesting. Very interesting that they're like, okay, we're bringing the rhetoric down. We're, when the, whatever you want to call him, dictator president comes to the United States.
Dictator president.
That's a big deal, no matter what.
It's a totally big deal. I mean, he's literally the leader of the largest country in the world. For life. So that's a big thing.
And then there's a lot of people. Do you love the people in America that are like, well, we just got to cut all of our ties with China?
They're such idiots.
It's like, where are you going to get your stuff?
Yeah, literally nothing is made in the U.S.
Yeah.
Everything is made somewhere else. And most of the places that, let's say you're buying something, it's not made in China. You're like, fuck China. I'm buying this Japanese thingy. Great. Where do you think Japan gets the metal to make it?
Or the parts are bought from China. Yeah. I mean, like, look at everything. It's like, okay, I've got a monitor. I've got a ring light.
You got all these, what I would kind of call as the, I don't want to call them rhinos, but definitely the traditional conservative types. They're all like, yeah, China just steals all the shit. They don't have anything that's advanced. Like all our iPhone chips are made in Taiwan, not China.
Yeah, where they're going to steal your IP.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, that you can. That's probably a fact. I don't need to argue against it. Where do you think the rest of the crap that the iPhone is made from comes from? Because they're not making the case in Taiwan. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's just such
they don't have the aluminum.
A massive misunderstanding on how things work.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Just whatever the deal that was made, and again, deals between China and the United States, take them all with a grain of salt. But one of the deals they just signed was, well, we agree between us, our buddies, Biden and Xi, that our countries are not going to use AI in weapons. So, I mean, yeah, you can use it in your drones to go look and do mapping and all of this, but any weapon that can actually explode, say, cause death, well, we're not going to use AI in that. And there was one of the talking heads, not the band, but one of the idiots on TV that was like, well, how do we know China's actually going to abide by this? And I'm like, well, how does China know we're going to actually abide by it?
Yeah, exactly.
And
there's a great clip from another movie you probably haven't seen, which is, God damn it. What is that movie?
Yeah,
I need to take some vitamin B.
That's my favorite movie. God damn it.
God damn it. Have you seen that one already?
Yeah. It's called The World.
It's the one with the Nazis and the moon. Iron Sky. Iron Sky. Have you seen it? Probably not.
I don't believe so. It does not sound familiar.
Add it to your list right there. Iron Sky. You should be able to watch it for free.
You think I should be able to watch everything for free?
Because I know you.
It came out. Well, this is true.
You could also just go to ironsky.net.
It's also available on Prime Video for free, it looks like.
There you go. Iron Sky 2012. And a really, really fun movie about the secret Nazi base on the moon. And how they decide to finally go back and take over the Earth.
It's a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh, it's way higher than that. And or it should be on Rotten Tomatoes probably. But it's a hilarious movie. It's got a lot of really fun little memes in it. It's like the whole movie is just chock full of memes. But one of them is when the Nazis have their moon zeppelins flying towards the Earth. The Americans realize that like they're going to need to fight Nazis, so that you watch the Hubble telescope transform like a transformer into a gunship. And it's like, always kind of figured that was the case.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we're going to need more help. And then you watch all the other countries' satellites start transforming into military vessels. And then the president of the United States is like, "Oh, come on! That we have a treaty. This is illegal." It's like, "Yeah, but you agreed to it too." And they're like, "Yeah, but you guys all know that we're not going to stick to any treaty that we make. We're not going to
abide by it.
But you're supposed to." And then finally she says, "Okay, did anybody not have military capabilities in their satellites?" And the Finnish UN member raises his hand. And he's the only one.
Hey, I mean, just imagine what Elon's got.
Oh, dude. No, Starlink is a military satellite system. There's no doubts about it.
Trivia on the movie.
And the U.S. government doesn't like the fact that it's in private hands.
True. Moon Nazi invasion on Earth began at 5:45 a.m., exactly like the German invasion on Poland that triggered World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That could trigger.
Yeah, so check it out. It's a good movie.
The featured review, the title is Nazis on the Moon. No more or less to it than that.
The chick in it, you're going to like. I like the chick in it, the main Nazi chick. She's really hot.
Yeah, I was going to say, just from the picture that they're showing from the movie poster. I mean, hot Nazis.
Nazi chicks are hot, man.
You're like, I can deal with that for a while.
There's your quote for the day.
Hot Nazi chicks are fun.
Nazi chicks are hot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The more you learn on the Unrelenting Show.
And the speech that she gives to the president's really good about, it's got some nice, well, and also one of my favorite bands did the music for it.
The Circle Jerks?
No.
Sushi and the Banshees?
Sushi and the Banshees, yes.
That's exactly it. As a Susie.
Yeah.
I like to say sushi, though, because if you're going to spell it that way, why not? Ryan Bemrose, who may or may not be a smartass, says, I love Gene's descriptions. I feel like I've seen the movie now.
Yeah, probably.
He paints a word picture like no other.
I try. I've taken way too many classes in that.
Well, and what do you do for buying the spaceships? Was there a class for that, or that just comes naturally?
The spaceship buying?
Yeah. Did you need to? I mean, how do you know what spaceships are good?
Yes, my people have that innate instinct.
You're just buying them all. You're the traders.
Well, you gotta learn which ones are going to appreciate the most.
That's true. And you hide them in your basement. They will go up in value, except you don't have a basement, so.
No, I don't. This is a rare commodity down south, basements.
Which would be really helpful because when it gets to really hot in areas like Chicago.
Yeah, basements would cool you off. Totally.
So you're like, you live in a really, really hot place, but I'm guessing it's because of the way the ground is there that they're not really.
It's a what do you call it? It's not
porous.
mud, but it's mud like clay. That's the word I was looking for. It's all clay, so there is no solid ground anywhere here. Everything shifts, and you'd have to go down. Like when they build a skyscraper, they go down very deep.
Yeah, you got to find bedrock.
Find the bedrock. But I think the bedrock here is like 100 feet down or something, or 50 feet down. It's deep. So all the houses just sit on cement slabs.
And you
the
hope
cement
they don't just go into the ground. They don't.
Well, the cement slab just kind of sails on top of the moving clay.
Makes sense. We have that here, and our driveway just keeps sinking. Yeah. Well,
oh, okay.
You know, that's the issue. The problem when it just sits on top is it's eventually, if the ground is not completely secure underneath, the building starts to sink, or in this case, the driveway. And then they come out and they pump some sand and shit under it. And then like 3 years later, you're right back to where you started.
Yeah. Well, you can put some asphalt on top of the asphalt.
Well, it's not asphalt, but it's concrete, which maybe you could do. I don't know if you can do concrete over concrete.
Probably do that. Well, you could do asphalt over the concrete for sure.
Just keep building it up.
That's how you end up with cities like Rome.
Buried.
Which anywhere you dig, there's like 4 floors of buildings underneath you.
You're like, how did this happen? That's what I told you. They're building a house here in the where I live.
On top of your house?
Close. I mean, they're building one because, you know, the wife now deals with all the permits and stuff. And they were trying
government employee.
Trying to build a basketball court in a basement. So this is going to be a home that's got a basement that's going down 20 feet, which is going to be weird. Like, you know, there is some structural issues with.
What's the dimensions of a basketball court?
I mean, fairly large. I don't know right off the top of my head, but they're, you know, unless you're going to have a pole right in the middle of it, like our basement, which isn't huge by any stretch of the imagination. And every large basement I've seen around here, they have support posts because, you know, buildings shouldn't fall down.
Right.
So putting up a basketball court with that kind of area that a home is then going to sit on, it has to be some kind of feat of engineering that.
Well, no, they just need to use steel beams. Most houses use wooden beams.
That would make sense. Or, you know, and they could be using something outside, and obviously you'd have to go down to bedrock, and then those would sit on at ground level so that what's below doesn't really matter, that the house above isn't going to tumble into said basketball court.
They could build some flying buttresses.
Ooh, that's very fancy. Everybody needs a flying buttress on their holiday list. So many movies to watch.
Yeah, get cracking, man.
I've just been
the report from the first one next time.
I've just been trying to get caught up in all the Hallmark Christmas movies. I mean, there's so many of them.
Oh, that's not something you should ever get caught up in. Oh, and for people wondering, Ben is alive, so we will be recording a next episode soon.
Wait, dude named Ben?
Yeah.
Another good old boys?
He was, he ended up having some flight issues.
He was stuck
and
in
instantly somebody said, okay, so he was he was clearly abducted by somebody.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Did you order it?
Did I order it? No, hell no.
It's like the old joke with Rodney Dangerfield. That
no respect
at all. It wasn't Rodney. It was the other guy.
The other guy.
Yeah. What's
Bob Hope?
No. The Don Rickles.
Oh, sure.
He's another very much in the same category of the self-deprecating humor.
Bob. That's why I said Bob Hope.
But he tells the joke, Don Rickles does, that, you know what? Frank Sinatra saved my life. It's like, really? Yeah, Frank. Yeah, he did. What happened? Well, I was outside this club and these guys, they were just beating me, man. They were kicking me. They were beating me. They were hitting me with whatever they had. And Frank Sinatra came out of the club. He looked at them and he said, okay, boys, that's enough. It's like that again, this is the misdirection of, oh, well, yeah, he saved your life, but he also told them to rough you up a little bit. That's how we feel around here every now and then. You got to have the misdirection.
I thought he was going to say, it's the wrong guy.
Wrong guy. Yeah, different guy. This is the one.
Oh, thank you, sir. You saved my life.
There you go. But we're going to do another Grumpy Old Ben's next week, too. So Ben is back.
Yeah.
And Grumpy Old Ben's, which we've been on about a month hiatus.
Yeah.
We're doing a show next Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving.
Very cool.
And then you and I may be here on the next.
So does that mean he's getting time off to do the show?
Probably getting a furlough.
Good behavior?
Yeah, furlough for good behavior. But really, when does he ever have good behavior? So
I know. That's why I'm surprised.
Probably won't last long. Then I got to see. I don't know if we have anything planned with the wife because I'm sure she's being a government job. Then no Black Friday working for her, and we'll see. We've got my mom's birthday this weekend. She's 85, so we're taking her out somewhere tomorrow. So
nice.
So
I'm gonna go to Olive Garden.
No, not the Olive Garden. I'm like, we should go to Gibson's. I mean, it's like 45 minutes away.
Maybe,
but Gibson's is good.
TGI Fridays.
No, TGI. There's really not a lot right in the area where they are. There's not a lot of those
Red Lobster.
Yeah, schlocky, overdone kind of restaurants, which is good because most of those are no good. But they have just like a ton of different Mexican restaurants and Italian restaurants, like little mom and pop places, which aren't necessarily bad, but it's not Gibson's. It's hard to beat Gibson's, man. A good steak is hard to beat. But we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. I don't know.
But if you wanted a good steak, then why do you keep talking about Gibson's?
Because where would you suggest I go? You're like, I do not like no Gibson's. We should go to that Fuca de Chao. You've never been to Gibson's?
I've never been to
best steakhouse in Chicago.
Really? I don't know, man. I was at it doesn't exist anymore, but I was at a great Houston's in Chicago. One of the better Houston's.
A better Houston in Chicago.
The restaurant name is Houston's.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's ironically, the Houstons in Texas are not as good as Houstons I've been to in other states.
It's a conundrum, Gene.
It's bizarre, right?
And one we will try to answer the next time we all get together.